In one day, within hours of each other, two inmates at the same New Mexico prison were found hanging in their solitary confinement cells. Officials at this point believe they're both suicides. Investigator Chris Ramirez has discovered at least one of these deaths may have been prevented.
Sunday, December 2nd, turned out to be a deadly day at the Central New Mexico Correctional Facility in Los Lunas. Keith Kosirog was found hanging in his cell at 9:53 in the morning. Adonus Encinias was found hanging in his cell about 4 hours later at 2:12 in the afternoon. Both were in solitary confinement, but in different pods. Matt Coyte is an attorney who has sued New Mexico jails and prisons, but neither Kosirog or Encinias were his clients.
Well, two inmates committing suicide in solitary cells in the same facility on the same day is a stark example of the toxic effects that solitary confinement has on people in isolation, most particularly the mentally ill, and I think there's some evidence that one of them, at least one of them, was severely mentally ill.
Online court documents show Keith Kosirog was ordered psychiatric evaluations, and his mental competency to stand trial was questioned. This death could have been prevented. During the past legislative session, lawmakers passed a bill that would have made it illegal for anyone to be placed in solitary confinement who has mental health problems, any pregnant women or any children. However, Governor Susana Martinez vetoed that bill.
It's so disappointing that the governor vetoed that bill, because this is exactly the people, or these are the exact people we're trying to protect with that bill. Seriously mentally ill people in isolation.
To make matters more dire, Kosirog hadn't even been convicted of a crime. Kosirog was charged with the nonviolent crime of criminal damage to property in Tucumcari, but the county transferred him over to a state prison for what they call safekeeping.
The evidence is clear that isolation is toxic to the mentally ill. So somebody who's mentally ill and is sent to the prison because the jail can't handle them or for whatever reason, and ends up in isolation, as is the policy for the Department of Corrections, they're going to get worse. It just is. It's so obvious that they're going to get worse.
As for Encinias, the state prison system says he had a medical problem that required him to be in segregation, but couldn't say more due to federal patient privacy laws. We reached out to the Corrections Department for comment, and they sent us a statement that reads, in part, "We are saddened by these deaths and send our deepest condolences to the families of Mr. Encinias and Mr. Kosirog." Chris Ramirez, Investigates.